God's video. So yeah, for anyone who noticed that there was not a video yesterday, I'm sorry. Um, but there's a reason to this. I actually made two videos yesterday, and the first video was in the morning. Hey, hey, there. First video was in the morning. The second one was in the afternoon. So, to work and from work. And why is there toilet paper in my background? But yeah, so sorry. The video that I was planning on putting up actually messed up, so I couldn't put it up, and I was so frustrated because it took so long to actually talk. It took the entirety of my 1 hour trip, and so yeah. So I may try to put it up, but I would have to send it to my computer and do some editing from there, and it's a podcast. I don't want to put that much effort into it. So let me get you the Cliff Notes version of it, and if anyone's interested, I'll put it up as a two-parter, because the main thing that messed up with it is the last 8 minutes were cut off. So if anyone wants to see it, I'll keep it on my phone for now, and if I get one person to ask for it, I'll put it up. So one person, I'll put up 2 videos. And my hair. I don't mind this look. That's a little bit better, I think. I like wind-blown hair. And yeah. The Cliff Notes version of yesterday is essentially, I really enjoy anime, and there's some anime that I think people would like. If you've wanted to get into anime, here are my best suggestions for a few genres. Start off in the sort of experimental genre. One of the best anime by I think it was a director who's now passed. He passed young, according to what I heard. That would be Serial Experiments Lane. It's from the early 2000s era, so anime was still seen as a very weird thing that not everyone could get into, and still not everyone can get into it. And yeah, and I do on another vein in there, I also really suggest Death Note. But first, for anyone who has not seen Death Note, but they know that there's a lot to Death Note, or they've heard of Death Note before, they think they may want to try it, watch the Netflix version first. Because a lot of fans of Death Note do not like it, but I think it's a good introduction to some of the concepts, some of the theming behind it. So I'm wondering if someone who's never seen it before can understand the theming in the same way that I can. I think that it was really well made. And for someone to see a Western version of it without any point of reference to the anime, manga, or the Japanese live action movies. At least I think they were Japanese live action. Anything that directly took from the source material, because the movie that's now on Netflix for Death Note took next to nothing other than theming and a few names. They still have the Death Note, and they still have a few of the characters, but the theming is what got into it, and it's honestly more gruesome, more grotesque and brutal. So if you think that something that's not afraid to really take those kinds of chances would be good, watch it. And then afterwards, watch the manga or read the manga, watch the anime, see some of the live action movies. I've never been interested in any of the live action movies. I need to get that point clear right now. Some people are saying that they're better than the Western one, or the I guess it's not really a modernization because they're still using like flip phones. So it is a timepiece to when it was actually it's the way that I see it is it's trying to set itself first. And it does a really good job of that by making it seem as though it's part of the original era of the story. So yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, if you haven't seen Death Note, watch it. But if you have seen Death Note, you're probably watching this anyway, so kind of a moot point now. Now, on to the slice of life. I'd suggest 2 anime for the slice of life genre. School Rumble and Azumanga Daioh. Both of them are focused in schools. Both of them have a select number of characters, although they do some branching off. But both of them handle it in 2 very different ways. One has more romance, and the other is more focused on the entirety of the school. So they got teachers, they got students, and it goes beyond the school, of course. But yeah, both of them are really well made and interesting, which is kind of rare in a few anime that are still relatively old, because both of them are the early 2000s era, so not a lot of amazing anime came over to the States during that time. Now, I think School Rumble actually, I first saw it in 2009, so it's a little bit older than that. But Azumanga Daioh is it's an anime staple. Now, the next is the mecha. I do suggest 2 mecha anime. And mecha, for those of you who aren't watching or who don't know what mecha are, it's giant fighting robots. And yeah, that's the easiest way about it. The mecha anime as a genre has a strong focus on character development and distinct personalities rather than theming. Like one of the most popular mecha anime, Gurren Lagann, sets itself apart by being as weird as possible. Not in the it's not like weird when you think, oh, the Japanese are weird. No, it's kind of embraces a Western kind of weirdness that you don't see in a lot of anime. Like, there's nothing that makes it feel Japanese in the sense of, like, when you think Japanese, you think weird tentacles and such. But, yeah. And the other one is Gundam Wing, which does have some theming to it. It's a war, like many other mecha anime. It does have a strong, distinction in war, just like any of the Mobile Suit anime series. But what really sets it apart is it was the first mecha anime I ever saw. I think it was one of the first to come to the US, other than Voltron. Which Voltron was kind of a parody of Power Rangers or Super Sentai, without actually being a parody. It draws some things from it. But Voltron is, a lot of people don't see it as anime in the same sense. They see it more like a Speed Racer anime. It was made in Japan, it was kind of fun, but that's it. It's not the same stylization as the as what a lot of people see as anime today. But that's fairly common in a lot of the mecha anime because of how well they're made. You don't really see them as anime in anything other than, well, I don't know. There's a baby. I don't want the dead plant. Alright. So yeah. That's my thoughts on that. And Gundam Wing it was the first mecha anime I saw outside of Voltron. And it was really well made with great characters. It didn't have a clear-cut message. But in a lot of ways, it is pro-pacifism. Not strict pacifism. No. True pacifism, is the way that I see it, is only using violence as it is necessary for the greater good. Which is something that the original Dragon Ball got in spades. Because the only time that any good came of violence was when they were, fighting for the greater good rather than just fighting for fighting's sake. And and then there is one other thing that I'd like to bring up with anime. I think I may title this anime or this video so you want to know about anime. And now the next thing I need to get out is shoujo and shonen. Shoujo and shonen are just distinctions based on the demographics they're making the anime for. So shonen has a primary male demographic focus, whereas shoujo has female. Some of the best shonen would have to be Dragon Ball Z, Naruto and Bleach are also okay, although I'm not a huge fan of Bleach. I thought it was cool for the first 2 seasons, and then kind of lost interest just because it didn't appeal to me anymore after that. It felt like it was a good closing point and they should have stopped. But then there are also I'm currently starting to watch an anime called Fairy Tail, but then Fairy Tail was also an anime that was made by the same team who created Rave Master, which was a fantastic anime series. Ow, that's a baby. Keep your elbow out of my chest. Yes, they see the dead plant. But I want to go into the shonen. But if you want to know what my favorite shonen is and a good introduction to shonen anime, Soul Eater. It has 50 episodes, so it's a decent one to binge. Very similar to how Supernatural started off really good to binge because it kept on going and going and going. But it doesn't require as much dedication. You could probably knock it out in a weekend if you really wanted to. Ow. Nikki! Stop. But then, there are some really good shoujo anime as well. My personal favorite, or my 2 favorites, an old school one called Tenchi Universe, or Tenchi Muyos. Both of them are really well made. They're essentially different takes or different universes on these same concepts with the same characters. And And I like Tenchi Muyo. I only got to watch the first 13 episodes because that was the only thing that really aired in the U.S. But then on Cartoon Network, it would show Tenchi Muyo, and after that ran, it would show Tenchi Universe, and after that ran, it would show Tenchi in Tokyo. Tenchi Universe was by far the longest. But Tenchi in Tokyo had the most weight to it as far as character progression goes. Except for the scientist character named Washu. Her greatest one is Tenchi Muyo. I believe it's like episode 5 or 6, where you look into her past and you see how broken of a person she actually is. But let's see, the next one. If you want to have a good anime that has a lot of like World War II influences and is kind of based within that era, I suggest watching Monster. I've only seen it in English. I haven't watched the Japanese version. The main character has the same voice as Gaara from Naruto. For those of you who have seen Naruto in the English version. And I think that the voice acting is fine in the English version. Because a lot of anime, for those of you who don't know, a lot of anime goes over to, when it comes to America, it'll be what's called dubbed, or it'll have English voice actors take up the roles. And some people who are fans of anime don't like English dubs at all. They will refuse to watch an English version, which I can understand. There's definitely huge differences between the languages, and some things that are really subtle or really like easy to do or to portray in Japanese are not the same in English, and vice versa, which is why you can find like 2 different versions of the same thing. But that's also why I'm not the biggest fan of Ponyo in English. And Ponyo, well, a lot of people know about Ponyo just because it was distributed by Disney. But I have a love-hate relationship with the English version because it has Liam Neeson playing the equivalent to King Triton. Because it's based on the book The Little Mermaid, the Hans Christian Andersen book. And like, I saw it in Japanese before I saw it in English, and I absolutely loved it in Japanese, but I don't like it in English, except I really like listening to Liam Neeson's voice coming out of this scraggly, kind of, not really derpy, but derp-ish. He's extremely intelligent, but yeah. just watch it in Japanese and then watch it in English, and if you're a big a fan of Liam Neeson as I am, you'll get it. It's not hard, I promise. But yeah, there are people who refuse to watch anything in English. But then another anime movie by the made by the same company as Ponyo. This one is called, no, not Nausicaa, not Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke. Sorry, it took me a second. Princess Mononoke. One of the voice actors in there, Billy Bob Thornton, has no recollection of ever being a part of that. He was drunk when they asked him, and he did all of his lines while drunk. It actually gives me a huge respect for the guy, because you can't tell, but it's kind of hilarious to watch. And the voice acting on that's actually really well made, or really well done. Japanese version's still a little bit better, but there are anime out there where I see the English version is better. Like, I can't watch any of the Tenchi shows in um, Japanese, just because those characters are their voices for me. But then also there's another mecha anime called G Gundam, and I think the English voices fit the characters and their personalities a little bit better. But then there's also the English dub of Dragon Ball Z, which I see as equal to the Japanese version, because all of them get their characters really well, but they seem just a little bit different in both, and some characters are better in Japanese while some are better in English. So, yeah, it's interesting to say the least. Now then, there's another genre in anime called deconstruction. It's very similar to dystopian. You may even be able to say that some of them are outright dystopian. And in the original video, I forgot the name of this anime, which kind of makes me feel kind of dumb because I finally remembered it this morning. But the anime is called Psycho-Pass. And that anime, if you don't watch any other anime that I suggest, watch this. Because if you're a fan of The Hunger Games, The Giver, Hunger Games, The Giver, or Divergent, as far as movies go, or if you're a fan of Partials, especially Partials if you've read it, Partials, as well as the Uglies books, I really suggest watching Psycho-Pass. Like, if you even like other dystopian things, or if you're a fan of cop shows or cop movies, I suggest watching this, because this does a really good job of hitting a lot of different genres while also giving us a fantastic story. The basis of it is this world, if you go above a certain mental state, you are seen as a threat, no matter what. Like, this could happen just because you are jamming out on your guitar too much and it warps your mind just a little bit. Yeah, it is that strict. But there's someone who, like, takes out actions, like, kills people, which is, yeah. But the guns in the show cannot kill people whose mental states are good. Like, so that's where the antagonist comes in. I'm not going to say any more than that, but it is one of the best anime, especially for people who may not like anime, or who may see it as kind of off-putting. So yeah. Thank you for watching. Here, I got something for you. Someone go get Jacksepticeye. Hurry. Okay. This one's for you, Jack. And I will see you all in the next video. Please leave a comment down below. Really, seriously, leave a comment telling me if you like this, if you thought my ideas were decent, or if you wanted a different take on something else, whether it's a certain genre of movies or TV shows or books, or if you just wanted to know how I'm doing, or if you had some advice or had some questions about relationships and such. I'm not going to be a guru, but I will be a jack of all ideas. If that makes any sense. Anyway, if you like this video, please mess with the thumbs up, or like this video, because seriously, the guy is sticking his thumbs up just for you. He just wants your attention. The guy with the thumbs down, yeah, he's angry. Don't piss him off. He doesn't like being touched. Seriously. So yeah, don't touch him. And as always, I would really appreciate it if more people subscribed or at least watched the videos. Anyway, I will see, not you, you will see me in the next video, unless you're just listening. For anyone who just listens to this, thank you. This is the entire point. I don't care if you look at me or not. Anyway, bye-bye.